Hey YouTube. It is 2 in the morning on Saturday the 27th of June, and I was thinking of my friend who one time told me that I should write a book. For some reason, I guess they think I'm interesting enough for 200 or some pages of my words, but I'm nowhere near the level of writing a book, so instead, I thought I'd read some of the stuff that I've written over the past few months and overlay it onto some videos that I've also taken. It'll be long and boring and slow, but if you listen close enough, maybe you'll find something of substance. So, most of these have been written over the past probably 6 months. I'm not sure exactly when they were written, but I'm guessing you'll see kind of a theme in them. These last few months have not been easy, but they also haven't been bad. They just kind of came with a lot of time to reflect, and I think that's what I do in my writing. And it goes as such. In moments of solitude, when all is true, and silence, so often shunned, begins its deafening hum, the chirps of a lost canary echo in the walls of my confine. It too is lost in a cave where the sun doesn't dare step foot. This canary and I, though different in tune, understand each other's melody, for this sickness of loneliness transcends all. Loneliness is a strong word. I think it's a powerful word too. When someone's alone, really the only thing they hope for is somebody else who understands what being alone is like. And I'm sure that's not too hard to find nowadays, or maybe in all of humankind, right? It's special when you find someone in those times, and I think you should hold on to them. I'm guessing in this case, whoever wrote this silly poem didn't find somebody, but instead found a canary in a hypothetical cave who also sang, but nonetheless, I thought it was a good poem, so there you go. This next one isn't really a poem, but more so a reflection, and so are the next few ones as well. I find that writing in an unstructured format helps with putting your ideas into words more so than trying to follow the structure of a poem. So that's what I've been doing. I've just kind of been writing and writing and writing, and whatever my mind thinks of goes on the page, or my phone in this case too, but here you go. I once felt something so different from a regular existence, so singular in how it affected me, that when it disappeared, so too did a certain part of myself. This thing wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it simply was. In being, it still managed to teach me the foundations of something so integral to loving. When this thing left, I meant to replicate it. I got close at times, and even convinced myself I had it once more. But with every time I was disproven, my attempts became less sane. I am now with the scars of both my original experience and the stains of my failed replications. These chasms feel so real, so necessary, yet even as I write, I question whether it was ever real, or if I am simply like all other souls, in need of something, someone to carry me. I guess I wrote this while in the bathroom, because on the bottom of the page it says, something very not romantic about being on the toilet while I think of this. My understanding is that as a self, as a being, one would know what it's like to feel whole, to know that all parts of you are present and that nothing integral is lost. But recently, I've come to understand that it's not that simple, and that sometimes you are scattered into so many experiences that you've lived and so many people that you've loved or just met, that even when you lose parts of yourself, you still feel them, and you still feel the effects that they leave on others. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but they were still part of you and are still part of you, just not part of you. This next one is about a very angry man. He once looked into the mirror to see a violent man. He burns himself, cares only for short bouts of joy. He's a hypocrite in his thoughts and actions. Something special about that man are the many lives he lives. When that man wakes from his slumber, when he thinks he does, lives consume. He lives thousands of them in those few seconds, for his body is trying so hard not to be tethered to this one. Yet the man does not hate his true existence. He enjoys the erotic sting of loneliness, basks in the solemn kisses of silence. He relishes the burning, a reminder of who he is. The more I read my writing, the more concerned I grow for myself. I mean, a lot of these are about loneliness and burning and pain and death, right? But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And I don't think that one has to constantly be experiencing these things to be able to write about them. There's something so strong and so impactful about these things that I write about, at least in my understanding, that obviously you're gonna write about them. I think these things are in the same plane as love and happiness and the idea of life itself. These are things that prove to us that we exist and they tether us down. This next jumble of words is about specific experiences in my life and how they've carried over to parts of myself now, good and bad, which is a common theme in all of my writing. It's specific in its details on purpose. I wanted it to feel like my experiences and even the nasty little parts and those details that aren't so necessary but important to the experiences that were once lived. It's long, so buckle up. I remember scanning parking lots daily. I'd look for spots not too far away from the jumble of cars, but not too close so that someone might see us in the back seat. This rush, literally, to find a spot as my brow grew sweaty because I knew what was coming next. A race against my heart, or rather the intense warmth that pooled around it. Maybe it was in my chest. I remember kissing, a rushed performance to convince myself this wasn't just a usual ritual, but a passionate act of love. To this day, I can't remember who was fooling who, if this facade worked at all. Maybe those two minds were thinking the same thing while their lips melted into each other. Can we just get this over with? I got good, fast at tying a condom. The rubbery texture left on my fingers after I tossed it into the cup holder on the side of the back seat. Sometimes, if a water bottle was back there, it'd be thrown in there instead, a sanitary device to a rather unsanitary act. Pants were put on, bras were clamped. The curtains to the stage show hastily closed as the actors forgot their lines. There's a lapse in almost all my memories of backseat plays. Did we kiss when it was over? Yet that was it. My knee remembers the shock of pain from all the times I bumped it against the center console. Tens of bumps, tens of times the sunshade was taken off meticulously, checking to see if someone was on the phone calling the cops on those delinquents dancing in the back of their car in a public parking lot. This routine, repetitive to a learned beast like myself, became a second thought. It says a lot when those memories are filled with the different ways to stop the outside world from looking into my car, as opposed to the songs that were sung in that privacy. My eyes learned to scope parking lots, even after ways were parted, a sick thought that would linger. These tainted eyes began to paint over the world, not only parking lots. Words came after the rush that would flood the valves of my heart when a possible ballet partner presented themselves. But that's exactly what they ended up being, partners to the sick dances my body had become accustomed to. And only that. Partners were found, dances were had, and partners were left. A familiar doubt was had after every curtain closed. Did we kiss when it was over? A warped view of the world and its inhabitants took hold. Stage curtains concealing the faces of those who fit the aggressively picky criteria set by the small man working in the scolding hot room of my chest. And even as I write these words, those coals once burning red continue to sear the bottom of my stomach, for this roaring machine has yet to stop, and I have yet to understand how to turn it off. With time, I hope to get a grasp on the many levers of this machine. Until then, I will endure and nurse my wounds as they come. Whenever I write, I struggle to find the perfect words for some feelings that I have. And so for this next one, I kind of gave up on presenting it as coherent and instead just really wrote whatever I was feeling at the time or whatever I was visualizing. If only I knew the words needed to express the amalgamation of thoughts that violently swirl in my head, a torrent, an indecipherable, intangible shade, a masterpiece, an abomination. It's the shape of the universe, but nothing at all, a force that manifests itself in my fragile vessel, the fuel that convinces my corpse it lives. It's the music and silence, the loudest of concepts, an illusion on my ears. Yet nothing could be so powerful. It's absolute serenity, a pillar, a reminder of what was and what will be, a sure reminder that I am conscious, that the trickery has worked. I continue to believe I am. A question: do I believe? Have I gone mad? Unanswered. It's the marble pillars of Rome, the calluses on Beethoven's hands. It's the wooden boards of Shakespeare's stages, the splinters in a remarkable carpenter's hands. It's a void, a color unrecognizable. So many words. God. I'm gonna end it off with a shorter poem because I think I've run out of ways to fill in the gaps in the videos I've taken, and I don't take that many videos, so this will be a hurdle to edit. The poem is called Songs of Worry. The moon grows weary of my sunken eyes, kissing the edges of my ears with songs of worry. She hums melodies to soothe as I grow zealous in attempts to decipher her songs. The moon grows sick of waiting. She drinks and shouts, scared of what may have happened. Last she saw, I stumbled a fool, yet I return and blame it on the moon. I hate the moon for caring at all. I think that's all I can fit into this video, but those are only from the past 6 months, and I know I'm going to write a lot more. I think it's healthy to write, but also it kind of gives you a view into what you were thinking not too long ago, since we always tend to forget in the first place. But if you made it this far, thank you. Give me some feedback in the comments or send me a DM, right? If you like them, thank you. If not, thank you. I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.